Right, we're off. Hello, guys and girls. What is it? 27th of March. Yeah, a bit of a delayed video. I've been away. Went on a cruise ship. Went over to Rotterdam, into Amsterdam. Back on cruise ship. Down. Gets back. Computer was down. Oh God, that was horrendous. Couldn't get notes on computer. Cool. So I had to get that sorted out. That took a while. But then all sorts of crap cropped up. My aid, my house phone, my mobile phone, my computer, all that. So there's a bit of delay. But anyway, we're back, Marcus and me. So we'll set off on this video. God, there's that much to talk about. It take me and him a week. But we haven't picked any subject out. We just do what we always do, spontaneously. We'll start with, what I'm going to start with is this. First of all, I want to tell you that your pension increase, your £9, has just gone on your gas and electric, because I had a letter from pension saying it'd be about roughly a £9 increase, and then this morning I got a letter from energy company who do gas and electric saying my bill's going up £9. I'm like, wow, you took £9 off me before, get me £9. Well, that nonsense. Anyway, cut up monstrosity walks in. He's getting daft with that Ed Miliband whack. What's this about? Fish and chip shops who have the cook on gas, right? Do the fish and chips, because electric doesn't give it the flavour what we used to.
Yeah.
Right, over the last God knows how many decades. he wants to go electric. And they're like, wow, you ain't got control like you have with gas when you're frying.
Right.
So them associations of fryers, what these fish shops belong to, they sent a letter saying, this is not going to work, right? It's not going to work. These people usually employ 1 or 2 employees, if not more, bigger fish shops, if they're popular. They're not going to get the business because people won't like it. Plus the cost of these fryers, and God, they're expensive. They're thousands of pounds, aren't they? You know what I mean? Changing it from gas to electric. What do you reckon to that nonsense about, climate, net zero, climate change with fryers? What do you reckon to that with that Miliband?
I don't know what about them. I mean, why, they're like a big air fryer or something?
Yeah, you've seen a chip shop. You know what Dave?
Oh, yeah, but being electric, are they like them?
Yeah, it's same sort of like contraption, but instead of gas burners,
right,
doing your fish and chips.
Well, the oil, do they actually?
They want to do away with them.
Oil's actually heated up with electric, is it?
Well, that's what they want. At the moment, everybody uses gas.
Right.
Because they've got more control.
Yeah.
When they're doing the fish and the chips.
Yeah.
Right. With the electric, it'll be, apparently, I don't know, but it's different.
Well, the flavour's different to the thing.
Yeah, and things like that.
I don't know.
It's like madness, isn't it?
It is madness, but I don't know.
They're just dreaming stuff up one after another, aren't they?
I think so. I mean, I'd never heard of it. Just mentioned it. So
it's only just come out.
Yeah, I got the impression like the big a new type of fire, like the air fryers.
No, mate.
Oh no.
It's from that old-fashioned thing. Well, they're not old-fashioned. The gas, aren't they?
Yeah.
Gas burners underneath the.
Oh yeah, I understand what you're
fats
saying.
or the oils, whatever they're cooking in. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not happy.
I don't know.
Fish fryers.
I don't know. First time I've heard of it, so I couldn't really comment. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, well, you can comment. No, maybe not on that particular thing.
Yeah.
But it's like him wanting this farmland for solar panels.
Yeah.
And wind farms.
Yeah.
Same crackerjack idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you're never going to produce enough energy. I couldn't give a shit whether you cover all Great Britain in solar panels.
Yeah.
You ain't going to get it, are you?
No.
Especially with this AI technology, it takes that much, power, these database companies, they need a power station to run one. It's mad.
There's no guarantee. Obviously, it's only going to be working a percentage of the time, isn't it? I mean, now there's not going to have the wind to generate the electric, or there's going to be too much wind, they can't switch them on. So, they're only going to generate a certain percent. They're only going to be working a certain percentage of the time. It's obviously a very expensive exercise.
Yeah, and then when they turn these things off, which is an expensive exercise, what they're going to do, they've got to go back to the traditional ways. Of the gas, oil and coal, aren't they, really?
Well, it's what they promised the things, the private investors. Depends what sort of money they've actually guaranteed, the tariffs and whatever they're going to get. I mean, if fossil fuel prices start coming down, so the cost of generating electricity is relatively cheap in comparison to what they've agreed with these windmill people to pay them per kilowatt hour, then you could get a situation where taxpayers actually paying them. You know what I mean? Actually paying them to produce the electric.
Like coffee will call. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Paying them to produce the electric.
No.
So,
hey, to me, I can't make head or tail of it. If it made common sense to me, right, and it was cost effective and everything works, as it should, and it can produce what it can. But it's all bullshittery. It's all scammery.
It is. Well, I think that the argument is once you've got the infrastructure in place, you don't have to buy the sun. The sun's already there. So the cost of the fuel to generate the electric's obviously free, but it's the cost of the infrastructure. You see, that's very expensive.
And the maintenance.
Well, yeah, this is where you're getting private.
Very cheap to maintain a windmill, mate.
No, but this is where you're getting private concerns who are building them, but they want a guarantee. They need a guarantee on price. You know what I mean? They've already, I suppose, without going into the maths or whatever, they've statistically worked out the how on a windmill basis. Let's just say the windmill only runs 40% of the time.
Yeah.
They cost them X amount of millions to actually produce the windmill and everything else.
Yeah.
Then they need a certain tariff over the lifespan of that windmill at 40% to get the money back and make a profit.
To get the money back.
Now, the thing is as well, you see, that's got to be guaranteed by the government because they're electric generators, so it's got to be guaranteed by the government. But what I'm saying is market price of fossil fuels might come down when they're actually producing that, so it would be cheaper to produce it with gas or solid fuel.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you've already entered into a contract once the windmill's actually built, and therefore you get a situation where the taxpayer is actually paying for the electric to be generated. In other words, it's the most expensive way of generating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because gas prices and solid fuel prices might come down in the long-term future, but you're already tied into contracts with these public, private partnerships with the private sector, because obviously they're not going to build these windmills if they're not guaranteed a set income.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Would anybody?
Yeah.
You wouldn't, would you?
Well, of course you're not.
Oh, you've got to be guaranteed it.
You've got to be guaranteed it.
Right.
So
this
is what I'm saying. So you might be signing up to a future where the taxpayers having to pay more per kilowatt hour, right, to pay the private concerns who built these windmills. You know what I mean? Because it might be cheaper in the long term to produce electric through either gas or solid fuel or even nuclear. If there's new fields discovered in the future, the cost of these products will actually come down. The cost of producing electric would actually come down also. So you just got to be careful. I mean, in the long term, it might be the cheapest form of electric, and it might be hailed the hero of the day. Do you know what I mean? But you just do. I doubt it.
I doubt it.
I really doubt it because
think
Trump's mining gas and everything out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the price of these fuels are going to drop. So that tells you in long term, price of electric using oil, gas or solid fuel should be cheaper than the solar, because it's obviously cheaper to build a power station. And it's cheap. What I'm trying to say is it could be more expensive in the long term for the taxpayer. But anyway, I'm not going into it because it's too long-winded.
I don't blame you. We'll move on in a minute. But I can't see all these concocted ideas are getting this net zero. It's nonsense. You can't achieve it. It's absolute garbage. They do more pollution, make it bloody windmills and solar panels will not help. They don't tell you that.
Yeah.
When they're saying, shoving them. They don't tell you any of this. They say, well, to dispose of them, what they're doing at the minute. They're piling them up in fields, the blades and stuff, and the solar panels. They don't have to break it down. And the plastics and the resins are using them in windmills. They can't break it down. You can't be recycled, so it's either stockpiled or they're burying them.
Well,
what? Are they on about climate change?
They're selling,
wow.
They're selling you on the fuel aspect, aren't they? That the wind is a natural thing and the sun is natural. I mean, you don't have to burn these things. That's how they're trying to sell it. But like you just demonstrated, the thing that uses and generates these things aren't environmentally friendly.
That's it. So you're about your net zero. Stop making that garbage you can't get rid of. You have to bury it in land. What are you going to grow? Right, with a load of old bloody windmills and solar panels buried underneath the soil. You're trying to plant a few plants in. It's nonsense, you idiots. If they just don't be, I just class them. They're all gone to university, got this. Listen, they're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. Right, the man. Anyway, we're going to shift from that moron, Ed Miliband. Worst thing for me and you, mate, is RMP, he don't cast it off. Wow. Oh, well, we're not blessed at all, are we? Oh, no.
I wanted a safe seat, didn't he?
His brother, David, Banana Head.
It's a safe seat.
Yeah, bacon butty and banana heads. Wow. Moving on from that, I'll tell you about, we talked about AI, haven't we? And I said, no stopping it. A few years ago, no stopping this AI. The more it develops, the more it's going to increase. Well, that Dr. Sunil Dam, who I follow, medical doctor, born here, did his medical profession here, worked at NHS, but now he works over in America. Comes back and forth, but basically he practices acute illnesses in hospital. When you go in with acute illnesses, diseases, obviously because they were outspoken when the old Jabberoonis come in, didn't like him for that. Trying to do what they do to these people, trying to knock him down, this, that and the other. Also he promoted, not in the NHS, but he has a little company he founded where he makes vitamins, nutrients and that sort of thing. But it's private, he don't teach that to his patients, he has to go along with protocol. So his latest podcast, if you look, it's I think he's pronounced his name, Sunil Dam. Asian guy. I follow him. I find him really good. He tells you all about everything. His statins, your medications. Even though he's a practicing doctor, he's got to go a long way. It's hard work for him. He don't really like it.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, we come out this morning with his latest podcast, about 20 minutes long, where he's talking to us, his audience, but mainly he was saying that he's talking to his colleagues, doctors, especially in the GP service, who think, what most people think, right, the NHS employed, but we all know the private, the contract for NHS. Yeah. But when you go to doctors, it's a private company. End the story.
Yeah, well, people are thinking, don't they, associate GP and that, we private National Health Service.
Yeah, but they're only contracted.
They are, the thing out there.
What?
The private concerns.
So he's saying to his colleagues, as well as his audience, but he mentions that, so make sure doctors will listen as well.
Yeah.
Right. Make no mistake, AI's coming in the next 5 or 6 years. And there's going to be a change like you've never seen before. Doctors won't exist. AI will do it. Right? And as he explaining to the audience and his colleagues that AI will be better at it than the doctor once it has all the data on you.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing what's up with you. Right? And prescribing you what the doctor does at the minute. I mean, he only knows what to prescribe because he looks it up on computers, doesn't he? You know, he types in your symptoms and it comes up and tells him he's got to give you that prescription for that medication or that prescription. He's got no say in it. Should he deviate, he's off the list, isn't he?
Well, we talked about it before. It's like using flow charts, isn't it? It's basically touch screen medication, but with the added Alexa, if that's the right thing to it.
Right.
Where it seems to give you a human element or human response to it. But it's obviously you've got this flow chart in this search engine, so to speak. That's how I see it. And the Alexa sort of, rather than you actually getting the result on screen, the Alexa sort of reads it back to you.
Yeah.
And it gives that human element.
Yeah, but
That's
so
how I'd see
what
it.
he was saying, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Now, he said it's all depends on how the program, the AI.
Yeah, for
if you left AI, he said what we'll all get a surprise with is what the AI comes out with. And if it's left, you know, if everything's fed into it, left, you know, not altered or manipulated in any way, he's looking forward to what he calls the true AI, because it will take you back to more natural remedies.
If that's put in as part of the program.
If you put all the papers in for all the studies on natural remedies, a lot of them are better than the medications they're giving you. Right, that they're not doing that because they're not allowed to do that. They have to give you the pharmaceutical version of it. But if it's left to AI's own devices, he believes that AI will turn it around quite a lot.
Yeah, but you've got to include that in the program, you see.
So this is what he's saying.
Yeah, because
it's what you put in the program.
Well, yeah, because I think we mentioned it before in one of the earlier videos. It always reminds me of that game Guess Who. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And what you say, you got two people playing. You got a series of people, and it's basically this. You ask the other person's questions, and they'll knock down. They got ginger hair glasses, blonde hair, blue eyes, and eventually it takes you to one result. Oh, it's Harry or Tom or whatever, and it
narrows it down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like a flow chart sort of scenario. You know what I mean? It runs through a series of questions, and depending on your response, it eliminates them that associated with that response, and eventually it's supposed to take you down to one. Oh, you've got piles or something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of those. It's one of those systems.
Yeah.
So
he said he can't. You know, he's never going to take over like surgeons.
Yeah.
Because that's a totally different thing. You know, it means manipulation and these things. You know. AI is a thinking thing. It's not a. Yes, it does in factories make cars and it makes this and this, that, and the other. But that sort of thing.
Yeah.
He says whether it's possible in the distant future that some robotic AI will be able to do that.
Well,
but he said no. He said, but all the others, doctors, right? And he said, if it goes right. Even himself and others, right, who were similar to him, who were still in the profession, right, there's not being able to counsel them, it's going to save them a lot of work, which is like he said, in a day's shift, might be a 10 or 12 hour day shift at hospital, the number of hours he spends with the patient is minimal, because it's all paperwork. AI will take over all that paperwork. Right, and free his time up. Right, it will write reports for him. It will do whatever he puts in, what he observed with that particular patient. As long as he puts it in, AI will take it all from there, write the report for him. All he's got to do is check if it's right. And if he thinks it's right, job's done.
Yeah.
That will free him up. So we've got more time to spend more time with individual patients. Not 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, you might have 20 minutes. You might see double the patients because he ain't got all that paperwork. Now, if that works, that's going to be a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I understand where it's coming from. And I hope he's right, provided it's programmed right, AI. He believes he explained it. If you do manage to see his podcast, his latest one, Sunil Dham.
Yeah.
Right. Dr. Sunil Dham. Right. If he's right in his assumption, how we portray it, he says, it's like the old farming when they used to do it with horses and ploughs and manhandle the plough behind the horse and this, that and the other. And then tractors came along in a very vague form, but there were tractors.
Yeah.
And this machine could do it. And people like farmers, they go to these exhibitions and some just shook their heads and go, yeah, it's not the same as doing it by hand. But we all know now, years and years later, tractor does everything. It harvests, it combines, it bales, it separates, you know what I mean? If it's like that, then it's a good thing.
Yeah, from one aspect, yeah. The problem is, I think, what people's concerns are, it's what do you do for employment? What do you do with those people? Because the thing is, well, you are right. You can always pick in the past, and technology has always taken jobs, and them jobs have always moved and sort of redeveloped new skills.
Yeah.
But I think what it is, it's the scale this AI can actually make people surplus to requirements.
Yeah.
And you can't really have I want to say Wall of China project. We've already got one agent wall. I mean, you can't send them. You can't send them everybody to build another wall or do all the potholes and everything else.
No.
What are you going to do with all these tens of thousands of
Individuals.
individuals.
I know.
If the potential is obviously there.
Yeah.
But
Be a bit of long-term planning as well.
yeah. What do you do with those people? Obviously, people are going to say, well, you skill them up where there's a shortage in the economy, this and the other, but there's a limit.
Oh yeah.
There's a limit because then you get an oversupply
Yeah.
of people doing a specific thing,
Yeah.
and that will just drive wages down and everything else. So,
Yeah.
That's it. What do you do? But I accept what you're saying. There is a lot of bureaucracy.
Oh, loads.
You know what I mean?
Loads.
Paper shuffling and this and the other.
That's it. It's not just one department, not just the medical. It's all sorts of administrations and
Well, the government's had to step in.
and all
hasn't
these
it?
agents. They're just full of paper shufflers,
Well,
aren't
it's had to step in because we're not a manufacturing country. We can't compete with certain other countries in the world. You just get you can't be competitive at all. Cost of production's really down, especially when you're dealing with people like China and India and people like that.
they? Yeah.
So what do you do with this surplus? Do you know what I mean? Surplus people employed. Government stands in and just creates. It just overbloats the public sector.
Yeah.
It's public sector jobs, basically. You know what I mean? Paper shuffle, the coordinator or whatever.
Yeah, well, in all honesty,
thingy.
I understand what you're saying.
Paperclip counter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a job.
Yeah, it's a job, right?
But I agree, it's not.
But what I'm saying is too many of them.
Oh.
Anyway, doing non-jobs.
I know.
There's too many in administration.
Well, we talked about it in one of the early videos, didn't we? About council digging holes. If you look back at this video, we've actually mentioned it.
Yeah.
Where you get one man digging a hole and 3 men watching.
Yeah.
And we were about how the government should be.
10 supervisors.
Yeah, and how we should redeploy them to do other things in the economy.
This is what happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
We get too many.
yeah,
It's like down in there, Whitehall. Far too many.
Oh yeah.
It's like them what they're going through in America.
Yeah.
Too many of these on huge salaries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they go, well, and then like the rise they've just given themselves,
Well,
these politicians, MPs, right? There's a perfect example. It's way beyond any expectations of middle classes, working classes to get them sort of pay rises, right? And they just give themselves. They do all these cuts at the lower end now. You know, as you know and I know, they whacked everything. Now they want a benefit scam, and although they're going to say they're going to save 5 million, they're still working on it because they want to even save more. Do you know where I'm coming from?
I can see.
But at the same time, it's just wasted billions.
Yeah. That's the point you say. I can see on the face of it. It seems a good intention thing to do. You're cutting wages in the economy. You cut it down on bureaucracy, whatever you want to call it, and that'll save. In theory, save. It don't really save taxpayers anything, but in theory, save the tax. Supposed to save the taxpayers. But and then on the other token, they give themselves pay rights. So you let all these people go, and some of them might not be highly paid workers, might just be road sweepers or this and the other. You let them all go, and then what you're doing is, you're getting yourself pay rises, this and other. It's they're hypocrites. It's very hypocritical, but it shows you for who they are. And at the end of the day, what you got to also bear in mind as well, yes, you might be paying more, you might have more road sweepers than what you need or paper shufflers than you need, but these people go out and spend money in your local communities and keep them businesses going.
That's true.
Once you get rid of them, you have the knock-on effects.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It affects your local businesses, shopkeepers, everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how you got to see it. Yeah. End of the day, they say, they save taxpayers. But when you're poor, when you're a poor person, you're not a taxpayer.
No.
You don't. The only people pay tax are people that make the money.
Yeah. Well, when we talk about everybody pays taxes, what you're talking about is income tax.
Income tax.
Yeah, but the people. That's.
Oh yeah, I know you pay. I know you pay. I know,
part of it.
I know you pay taxes on your fuel or
VAT
and things like that.
Everything else.
And that
insurance, house insurance, everything.
That's fair enough. But
it's all them taxes, and that's. It's all them tax because they're just tax. No matter how you look at it.
Oh yeah, they are.
Everything
taxes.
is a tax.
Yeah.
He has to separate it. Income tax, VAT tax, this registration tax, that tax, this tax. We lost count how many taxes we get, right? It's gone down, it's that cloud. Right? All that's what you put back in, innit? Well, it's what you earn to take all these things off you.
Yeah.
So I always look at taxes as all of them combined, so that when people go, well, I paid into this, right? I don't just mean national insurance.
Yeah.
Yes, you paid that, but what I'm saying is, all the taxes, all the money they took you off you in one form or another, however it is, VAT or whatever, it's just taxes, ladies and gentlemen. In my eyes, I might be completely wrong, it's just taxes. So you get an understanding. I don't know what its ratio is now. It's about 56 out of a pound.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, it's a good point we're saying.
You get about 44 pence out of a pound a year.
Yeah,
you don't get a pound.
It's a good point. And what I'm saying is, yes, the things like VAT and
you pay thousands, hundreds of thousands over years. Yeah.
But if you lose your job, a public sector job, say I always use road sweeper, but not against road sweeper because whatever. But if you use them and them sort of people lose their jobs.
Yeah.
They're not going to spend the money. They're not going to fill the tank up at the
petrol
station. They haven't got it.
You lose all that taxes.
You know what I mean?
But what bit they do have and they spend, they're still getting taxed on it with the VAT and all the rest of the shit.
They're getting taxed,
It doesn't matter where you are on the scale, you're getting it.
Oh yeah, you're getting it. But what I'm saying is, your spending capacity is totally reduced, and it has a knock-on effect. So if you don't spend more on the I don't know, buy whatever cream cakes from a shop, then the factory that makes you cream cakes, they're going to lay people off because they're not doing the sales. So it has that snowball effect, which in turn then sort of reduces. It can be a snowball. There's pros and cons to it. That's what I'm saying is there's pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's 30 minutes this video. It's
Yeah.
the longest video we've ever done. It took like
Is
2
it?
seconds. Hasn't it?
Yeah. It's,
But there's so much things I want to talk to you about. It's like I heard this guy, right? The Austrian, you know how I am, right? Forget your wants. Just live on what you need. Right? Your wants are totally different from your needs. I want a new 3-piece when there's no wrong with old one. Right? It's wants, not needs. If you need it, then you need it. That's it. Otherwise, it's a want. Well, I heard about this Austrian, right? So he says to his neighbour, his neighbour was June Slater, actually, who does their podcast. She would tell a story, and I went, that's what I mean. Like, he goes, I'll have to buy a new coat, you know, in German, like, she understands German, Austrian guy. I'll have to buy a new coat, you know. Oh, that coat looks alright. Oh, yeah, I've had it about 50 years. They don't, when they buy a sofa, right, they buy it for life.
yeah.
When they buy stuff, they buy it to last their life, right? They don't change it every 5 years, right? They've already got that mentality. We haven't. We've got to anchor with us our maximum memory capacity. I've got to delete stuff off this iPad to give us more, but we're still going,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I always leave the last word to our Matt. We ain't covered a fraction what we talked about, but hopefully we'll catch up with some news happening every day. So we can't catch up with what we've learned over the last 5 to 6 weeks because someone new will come along as well before the next podcast. And because we delayed, God, it'll take 3.5 hours just to get through it.
The thing is, one of them conversations, what you're talking about, what we've just been talking about, it's one of those conversations where you can talk for hours on it.
Hours, can't you?
Hours. You can talk all day into it. I mean,
Yeah.
because obviously there's argument, not argument, but there's like view, counter view, counter view.
Yeah,
you know
your
what I mean?
opinion, my opinion.
And you can go on forever with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you can go on for absolute hours.
The audience out there won't believe the sort of length of conversations me and you have. If we were to record them, we'd have to do a video 24/7.
Because the thing is, the way I see it is everything's part of the same thing, so it's all interlinked. So it don't matter where you start, you can interlink everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
That's
everything's totally interlinked. So, you know, you could start off with, I don't know, talking about this cup,
Yeah.
and you make the connections. The next thing you know, we talked about politics or religion or
Economics.
economic. They're all interlinked.
Physics.
Whatever. It's all interlinked.
Yeah.
So
That's true, isn't it?
yeah, it is true. The world's
Yeah.
totally everything. All these disciplines are sort of interlinked.
Yeah,
if you want to see it as that, and then it's quite easy to just start off from way beyond,
Yeah.
and then come to exactly where you want to.
That's true.
It's easy.
We do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been fortunate enough like that, where both of us minds work that way. We just discuss things, and then it goes on and on and on and on and on, doesn't it?
Yeah, because
From
everything.
the simplest thing you might fetch up, or I might fetch up, it just goes into a universe, doesn't it?
Yeah, because everything sort of influences everything else. You see,
Yeah.
and that's it. Everything influences everything.
Why, it's day 4. We've
Yeah.
never done this long, ever. And it's so quick.
I know,
So I'm going to leave the
I know.
last word to you now. God knows how long this will take me to load up. But, you know, we're up to what I've been having, hoping I've solved it. I told you about everything today. Wow. I'm not a technology guy, so I want to go through all this shit with online, mobile, broadband, this, that, and the other. Because, you know, like I told you, I'm reducing my overall cost of everything to pay. So the more I learn, the more I reduce that cost. You know, I'm not stuck in no trap, right? I'm just going, I'll pay, that can afford that, I'll pay that, can pay. No. If I don't have to pay, I don't want to pay. If I can get the same services for less, I'm going to do Angler.